While the world watched conflicts erupt in the Middle East, Russia made its biggest power play yet, right under the noses of the United States and its allies. At the G20 Summit in India, as global leaders discussed pressing issues, Vladimir Putin was forging new alliances that could permanently reshape the geopolitical order. It was a dramatic diplomacy coup for Russia, unfolding away from the headlines yet with enormous ramifications. With a single strategic move, did Putin take advantage of the distraction to advance his vision for a post-Western world? During the ongoing conflicts in the Middle East between Israel and Hamas, which have stirred confusion worldwide, Russia, under the leadership of President Vladimir Putin, is orchestrating strategic maneuvers. Putin's approved foreign policy concept, initiated in March 2023, unveils Russia's vision to shape a multipolar world order, aiming to diminish the overbearing influence of the United States on the global stage. Within this conceptual framework, Putin critiques the U.S. strategy of imposing its values and political interests in other nations, emphasizing the breaches of international law that disrupt global stability. Russia is actively seeking alliances with major powers such as China and India, positioning itself as a pivotal player in the intricate tapestry of global geopolitics. What captures global attention is Russia's recent strategic move during the G20 Summit hosted by India. As leaders of major economies converge to address pressing global issues, Russia executed a calculated maneuver that holds the potential to redefine the global balance of power significantly. This unfolding development occurred discreetly, diverting the world's focus and deepening the intrigue surrounding Russia's impactful actions on the international stage. In the vast Andaman Sea, a captivating twist unfolds in the geopolitical narrative as Russian warships make a notable appearance. This visit serves as a striking testament to the deepening bond between Bangladesh and Russia, a surprising development in the wake of Russia's extensive invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. Despite the tumultuous international backdrop, Russia is actively involved in the construction of Bangladesh's solitary nuclear power hub, the Rampur nuclear power plant. Anticipated to deliver its inaugural uranium shipment in October 2022, the Rampur project holds promise for elevating Bangladesh's energy security and propelling economic growth. The Russian embassy in Dhaka is brimming with enthusiasm, hailing the visit as a pivotal moment for the flourishing relationship between Russia and Bangladesh. Beyond the bilateral spectrum, this maritime encounter underscores Russia's fervent interest in broadening its footprint and influence across the Indo-Pacific realm. In this densely populated and swiftly advancing nation, Russia sets its sights on accessing novel markets and opportunities. Collaborating with Bangladesh on naval and security fronts, Russia is strategically positioning itself in the vital waters of the Bay of Bengal, a pivotal conduit for trade and energy. Additionally, this calculated move is a response to the US-led Quad Alliance, advocating for a free and open Indo-Pacific. Zooming in on Russia's intricate relationships with North Korea and China becomes imperative, particularly for South Korea. Although the trilateral partnership announcement involving Japan, South Korea, and the United States at Camp David in August suggests tighter bonds among China, North Korea, and Russia, the narrative carries nuanced layers. The growing alliance among these three nations is a result of various events sparking security concerns in their respective capitals, prompting a quest for mutual support. A turning point in this intricate sequence is marked by the emergence of the Indo-Pacific concept as a strategic vision for the region, viewed with suspicion by Beijing and Moscow. This concept is perceived as a new Cold War tactic to curb China's ascent. North Korea aligns itself with Beijing and Moscow in opposition, prompted by shared concerns. Despite China's initial attempt to downplay its reaction to the Indo-Pacific concept, considering it a transient facet of the former US President Donald Trump's strategy, the alliance between Japan, South Korea, and the US becomes a game changer. Earlier this year, Seoul and Tokyo embarked on a remarkable journey to normalize their relations, temporarily setting aside historical grievances to confront the looming North Korean threat. While this collaborative effort aimed at fostering regional stability, Beijing couldn't help but harbor suspicions of hidden motives or agendas against China, especially as the US joined its allies in conducting joint military drills in the area. The strengthening ties amongst Japan, South Korea, and NATO fueled growing distrust in the eyes of China. In parallel, Japan asserted its regional influence, unveiling ambitious plans in its national security strategy and defense white paper to bolster defense capabilities capabilities and security cooperation. China interpreted these moves as a significant shift in the regional balance of power, presenting a mounting challenge for the US-led coalition. The united stance of the US, Japan, and South Korea further heightened China's feelings of isolation and perceived threat. Tensions reached a boiling point during the trilateral summit at Camp David, where leaders expressed a shared commitment to counter the North Korean threat. In an unprecedented joint statement, China's actions in the South China Sea, an area Beijing deemed as a core interest, were strongly condemned. The summit not only established a regular consultation mechanism, but also outlined a comprehensive agenda for trilateral cooperation, emphasizing that the alliance was a long-term strategic partnership addressing various regional and global challenges. The recent summit involving China, North Korea, and Russia has introduced a seismic shift in dynamics across East Asia. Sources reveal that China took the initiative to engage in a dialogue with North Korea, asserting its leadership within the alliance. This development adds a new layer of complexity to the geopolitical landscape, reshaping alliances and exerting influence on regional power dynamics. In response, North Korea seeks alignment with China and Russia, viewing them as key allies in bolstering its security against perceived US influence. Russia, in turn, is actively working to fortify its partnership with China, a commitment underscored during Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi's visit to Moscow. During the visit, Wang Yi emphasized the imperative of sustained strategic cooperation against unilateral actions, hegemony, and confrontation. After his visit to Russia in September, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un extended a warm invitation to President Vladimir Putin to visit Pyongyang, signaling a keen interest in expanding ties. Despite this apparent cooperation, challenges loom over this growing alliance. North Korea appears poised to strike a delicate balance between its economic reliance on China and the pursuit of diversified sources of technology and equipment, particularly in the military domain. However, this emerging trilateral partnership carries at least 4 significant risks. Firstly, there's the potential for the prolongation and escalation of the conflict in Ukraine, where Russia is engaged in a severe campaign against the Ukrainian people. Russia's actions, including attacks on civilians and infrastructure, have been condemned as war crimes that must be halted. If China and North Korea further support Russia, it could complicate Western nations' efforts to uphold Ukraine's sovereignty, draining resources and capabilities. The second risk involves the possible involvement of Chinese and North Korean personnel and experts in the Ukrainian conflict, transforming the region into a testing ground for the 3 nations to refine their weapons and tactics. This scenario draws parallels to the Spanish Civil War between World War II, which led to enhanced military capabilities for China, North Korea, and Russia, potentially making them more formidable in future conflicts. Thirdly, the shared ambition of all 3 partners to expand their territory and influence beyond current borders raises concerns about potential geopolitical tensions and conflicts. As these nations pursue their respective interests, the risk of friction on the global stage becomes a pressing consideration. In the shadows of distraction, Russia has orchestrated a strategic masterpiece, a move reminiscent of the Axis powers during the early days of World War II. The United States, once equipped with a robust military doctrine for such multi-front threats, now finds itself grappling with worn-out and insufficient military resources. The challenge at hand is monumental, facing 3 major theater wars simultaneously, a daunting feat that could potentially be impossible for the US military. Complicating matters, the alliance between Russia, China, and North Korea possesses a perilous weapon in their arsenal: nuclear weapons. The specter of a conflict escalating into a nuclear disaster looms large, with the US lacking comprehensive planning for such scenarios since the end of the Cold War. Amid this peril, how can the United States and its allies respond to the formidable partnership between Russia, China, and North Korea? While halting their cooperation seems elusive, there are strategic actions that can be taken. Firstly, acknowledging the evolving nature of warfare is paramount. Drawing lessons from ongoing conflicts, such as the one in Ukraine, is essential for predicting invasions, understanding weaponry, and identifying vulnerabilities. The next crucial crucial step involves advancing military capabilities to maintain the US's strategic edge, harnessing technological strengths, fostering innovation, and leveraging the resourcefulness of soldiers are pivotal components. However, developing these capabilities goes beyond creating new weapons. It requires an understanding of their effective use in diverse scenarios. The third action entails re-evaluating the requirements of the US military in response to emerging threats. This involves identifying necessary forces and their composition to address potential conflicts initiated by the formidable partnership. Despite the financial demands of such assessments, maintaining a robust defense budget is non-negotiable, as evidenced by the situation in Ukraine. A weak defense budget could prove more costly if it fails to deter an attack, especially considering the unimaginable costs of war involving nuclear weapons. The fourth action involves wielding economic and information operations to impede the movement of North Korean and Chinese supplies to potential conflict zones. This includes imposing sanctions on implicated companies and banks, diplomatically pressuring China and North Korea to cease weapon shipments, and exposing and cautioning North Korea about its involvement in Russia's war crimes. As the world watches these geopolitical maneuvers unfold, the strategic response of the United States and its allies will determine the course of history. In the face of uncertainty, one thing is clear: thoughtful, innovative, and decisive actions are imperative to navigate the complexities of this new era of global conflict. Captivated by the riveting journey through geopolitical intricacies and global dynamics? If you yearn for insightful content that transcends world affairs and delves into a myriad of topics, take action. Hit that subscribe button now. Your support fuels our commitment to delivering unparalleled videos. We're not just unraveling the complexities of international relations, we're also keeping you abreast of the cutting-edge developments in the automotive realm. Subscribe to stay connected for a constant stream of enriching content.